Okay, welcome back to the Revisionist Almanac, part of the Movie Archer Podcast Network. I'm Andrew, and I'm back with another monthly recap. Once again, I have Heather Stewart alongside me. No longer void talking for me. This is much preferred, Heather. How are you?
We almost had to do the void talking again,
We did.
but I said, no, that's dull. Let's not.
We made it work. We got together. We got a lot of we both went in different directions in March as I'm looking at our notes. Like we totally covered different bases. So there'll be a lot of stuff we'll get to over the next 45 to an hour. Let's start though with the two probably big watches for March, at least tied to the two things that we've done specials on already. So we'll start off with, I think, the biggest release of the month, which is Project Hail Mary, the Ryan Gosling film. Christopher Lord and Miller did that. I have not seen it yet still. I am kicking myself. Everyone is shaming me for having not seen it. Heather, you have seen it.
Call yourself a Gosling fan. Oh my God.
I know. I finished the book now officially. So I've got the book.
That's why you haven't watched the film.
Exactly. Yeah, the book's behind me by about a week. I thought the book really stuck the landing, so I'm eager to see kind of what they tweak from the book potentially, or obviously they're going to have to carve a lot of stuff out of the book. And I've heard some things that they've maybe taken out of the book. But just in terms of your coming into it relatively blind, what were your overall takeaways from Project Hail Mary? It's been pretty much universally acclaimed by everyone at this point.
Yeah. Okay. So it is fabulously made. Like, it is, production design is incredible, cinematography is incredible, the visuals are incredible. Ryan Gosling is great. I am lower on Sandra Hüller, some people seem to be, and there's a few scenes that I just don't really like. Now, I haven't read the book. I am definitely lower than most people, I think, on it. It felt messy to me. It's very long. I felt all of those 156 minutes, and I don't normally. I love a good long film, like 3+ hours, no problem. And we'll be discussing a 3+ hour film that I saw this month, or almost 3 hours. And there's so many times it could have ended and it didn't, which, I mean, the ending is fine. I quite actually like the ending, but it just kept going. It just kept going. And I didn't like the score as much as a lot of people. It was one of the kind of the jarring things in the film. There was a lot of very jarring things in the film, whether it was the tone, whether it was the editing, or there was a lot of mixture of like the whimsy mixed with the serious. And I know that's the style of Andy Weir, like the author, and I know that's what The Martian was kind of like. And I really liked The Martian. I don't know. I'd like to kind of see it again, because I have, interestingly enough, found myself quoting parts of the film quite a lot, which nobody gets because everybody's like, not everybody has seen the film, and certainly not in my circle. But so it's definitely kind of stayed with me in that respect. I think I had a bad audience, or definitely the people next to me were just really annoying, and that can make a whole difference. Yeah, they were vibing with it, but too much. I'm sorry, that sounds really bad, because we love it when an audience vibes with a film. But they were kind of repeating funny lines. So they were talking, they were repeating funny lines, they were kind of trying to anticipate what the characters might say next. Because there were certain things that were repeated a number of times, and you've read the book, so you'll know kind of what I mean. And then they started imitating certain gestures that the characters make in the film, and it was just getting really annoying. And they were laughing, and people were laughing, and it wasn't, to me, it wasn't laugh out loud funny. So that was just really annoying me, and I was just then in a bad mood. So while I love an audience that really vibes with the film, when it's over the top and just, they were laughing at a lot of the slapstick, and that's not my humor. There's a lot to love and a lot to appreciate, and I'm just a bit mixed on it, but I would still give it an absolutely strong 7 out of 10 for sure. But it is quite funny, because even the people who are giving it 4.5 or 5 in Letterboxd, a lot of them are admitting it. They're saying, oh, the editing is a bit out, it's a bit messy, it's a bit all over the place, there's a million endings, it's too long. So they're saying everything that I'm saying. But they're saying, but I'm still giving it 4.5 because it was like so good. And I've also been joking with other people. I'm saying, watch me do exactly the same with the Odyssey, like in July. I'll be like, yeah, it's way too long. Yeah, it's messy. Yeah, you still can't write women, but I'm still giving it 10 out of 10. So that's where I am.
So I got a couple questions for you, just from kind of the stuff I've heard. So in the book, it jumps between two timelines, like the present, and then do you think it pulled off the jumps back and forth well? Because in the book, it really does add layers and layers of backstory.
That wasn't the editing that bothered me so much.
Okay.
No. I think that was fine. A lot of people didn't. That has been one of the criticisms that I've also read, that didn't work so well, or we didn't spend enough time in each place. Like it was too sudden back and forth. I didn't find that too bad. There was other aspects with the editing, which was basically the pacing is what bothered me most about the editing. It seemed to take a lot of time in certain parts and not enough time in others. Like you also had no idea of the sense of time in this thing.
That kind of happens in the book too, where you don't really get a good idea of like, are there weeks passing, months passing? Like they definitely kind of, that was probably the biggest critique I have of the book, is it felt a little unclear. Now, I've heard also that there's a big plot point in the book that explains how Grace ends up on the mission.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard maybe they don't include all of that in the film. Is that true?
Well, I wouldn't know because I haven't read the book.
Okay.
But they do explain it, yes.
Okay. It's an explosive situation, I'll say.
Yes.
In the book.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah. That's that, yes.
Okay.
That's
okay.
there.
And then the other big critique I've heard is that Rocky and Grace as a combo are very fun together in the film. However, I've heard that it feels much more like a sidekick, Rocky being like the sidekick, whereas in the book they're very much like mental equals. They have different specialties. Rocky's more of the engineer, Grace is more of the scientist. But I've heard some people who have read the book and watched the film say they don't love that they sort of shifted the dynamic to Rocky being more of this like sidekicky character.
He's a bit gimmicky. Yeah, okay. It is a bit gimmicky. Rocky, in what he says, is a lot of the stuff that I found myself repeating. Like I will go around going, amaze, because I think that's so funny. And nobody gets it, but it's okay. Yeah, I think I've also read that there are parts of their relationship or parts of Rocky as a character that is different in the book. I don't know. I'd have to. I can't tell you. It didn't. They don't seem so much as equals. I don't think in the film. Whether that bothers you if you've read the book is another question. I don't know. It didn't bother me so much, because it's like, okay, well, clearly, Grace is the main character. There are things that feel a bit rushed, like the communication between them. It's like that suddenly went from 0 to like we understand each other perfectly sort of thing, just with a few words that they didn't get. But I mean, we've seen Arrival as well, so that's also quite quick.
Yeah, you got to condense a lot of that. There's a lot of book time spent on that.
Yeah, although with the difference, of course, that Amy Adams' character in Arrival is actually a linguist, so
right.
She's kind of like used to this thing. Yeah, I have read that there's certain parts of Rocky that are kept almost as if it's for like pure entertainment and like comedy value, whereas in the book he is more serious. There is the serious backstory, of course, which he got everybody like quite emotional and all this kind of thing in the cinema, but I don't know. It's hard to say without having read the book. It didn't bother me. That's not one of the things that bothered me. But as I say, if I was very attached to the book and the character portrayal in that, and it is considerably different, then maybe it would bother me more. But this is the difference between me having read Wuthering Heights.
Yes. Yeah.
and me going off on one like last month, or not.
Yeah, so. I'm worried I'm going to be the Wuthering Heights person for this movie potentially when it comes out, when I get around to seeing it. I don't know.
But this is your first time reading the book, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So you haven't got that much of a affinity necessary, or a long,
right. We'll see how. Wait until December when Dune comes out, because I remember, as much as I loved Dune Part 2, I was like picking it to shreds about all the things that they had to condense and leave out, and I was like overly critical of Dune Part 2, and I have a feeling I'll probably do the same thing for Messiah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been very complimentary, also people who've read the book. I think the general consensus is that it's been done well, but the people who one of the things that has been, I've seen from people with the book, is the tone. They do play up the whimsy a bit more because I asked people that, I said, well, can you just explain, is it like this weird mixture of whimsy and serious in the book? And they say, well, yes, but I have the feeling that the comedy was played up more, but that is just Gosling. He's got great comedic timing, so I guess they kind of played into that a bit.
Yeah, I do. I wonder if I'll feel better. So I've got a colleague that I know who's read the book multiple times before the film got announced and Gosling got cast, and so he heard the voice much different and pictured somebody different. I waited until Gosling got cast, and so like it was very easy for me to read it and see it with him front and center, and so like I could see his comedic skills like on the page basically, whereas maybe if you had read it prior, it felt a little disconnected. I don't know. Speaking about Gosling, we've come off the Mount Rushmore episode we did, so we've got Barbie, we've got Half Nelson, La La Land, and most recently Drive made the final four spot. Do you think, two questions for you, do you think that there's any chance that we'll look back on Project Hail Mary as a Gosling Rushmore worthy performance? And I guess my other question is, do you think that this movie is maybe the performance that gets all of his facets and all of his skill sets most? Because I've heard a lot of people say like this is kind of like taking Ryan Gosling's skills, putting it into a blender, and you get a little bit of everything. Did you get that sense?
I was missing the real sad boy.
Okay.
Gosling. Of course, he has moments of emotion. And there is one scene down back on Earth where one that a lot of people are praising, and it didn't work for me, where Sandra Hüller is more like front and center, but he's still there. He kind of looks a bit wistful there, maybe. It struck me as more a comedic Gosling thing. I mean, certainly he carries the whole movie. I mean, that is like more than I think anything else. I mean, he's literally in, I mean, I don't know what the percentage is. It's probably a lot less than I think, because these things always are. Yeah. It's like he was in the whole movie, and then it turns out it's like 65%. I was like, oh, okay. It would be interesting to see the screen time, but he is, I mean, there is the comedic that we've got. There is what were the four things that you picked out for the thing? It was stoic, comedic,
song and dance,
sad, song and dance. There's no song and dance. There's no song and dance.
Though I can't escape.
There is karaoke.
Hüller is singing that Harry Styles song, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Which I hear is incredible, by the way.
Whatever.
Okay.
That's the scene that didn't.
Okay. I have no context for that scene because there's nothing like that in the book that I remember, certainly. So must have been something they ad-libbed.
I have no connection to that Harry Styles song either. So whatever.
Okay.
I mean, she apparently it's the one that she selected it.
That's what I heard.
So I mean, fair enough. That's interesting because she's similar age to me, and she selected Harry Styles. So, like, okay,
I would,
a bit younger. I don't know, but
I would be. I feel like everyone's talking about this performance already being like an Oscar contender, and I would be really surprised if he's like in the 5. I just don't. Best actor is always a dogfight.
He'll get the Globe probably.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, he'll get the comedies for sure.
I mean,
It's a long way to go.
Matt Damon exactly. I mean, for goodness sake, Matt Damon got in for The Martian, but that wasn't the strongest of years. If we think back to 2015, he is very good. He is very good, and it is very much a bit of a showcase for his skills and what he can do, and the timing. But
I'll just go on record and
say it feels very, very early, and we've got Tom Cruise coming down the line, and we've got Matt Damon potentially for the Odyssey. But Nolan's aren't always the acting play. So I think there's a lot of things to come, and it is March. But then when did Cernus come out? So
I'll be stunned if he's in the 5 next. Just knowing not a ton, like I think Cruise is probably going to be about as locked can get based on
if the film is not terrible.
Yes, yeah. Iñárritu, you never quite know, quite honestly.
Exactly.
But I feel like even Chalamet in the third Dune might have a better chance just based on the window it comes out and like people's.
I question whether there might just be Chalamet fatigue, and it's like, let's just leave it for now and just let's not do this again.
Yeah, and
give him some time away from the award circuit, go and do something else, have a break, whatever. And then
I'm rooting for Gosling. I will definitely say, like, just as a fanboy of his, though it would be kind of, I don't know, it would be kind of weird if all of his nominations start becoming these more comedic roles where it's Barbie.
Yeah, and that's what
this is like. Yeah, like Blue Valentine didn't get a nomination, and all of these other really incredible, more dramatic performances. Half Nelson did. Yeah.
But that was the breakout sort of thing. It's right. That was a surprise. It's
a weird one.
It is. But again, on the other hand, we do say comedy is so hard to do well, and it never gets enough recognition.
That's true. That's true. So yeah, at the end of the day, if he's there, I'm not mad. But I'll be just like projecting out a year. I don't think he's going to be in the 5.
And do we even know what Digger, the Tom Cruise film, do we even know if that is drama or comedy? Just thinking about the Golden Globes.
That's no idea. Great question. It could be one of those like tweener kind of, because like it could be like a Birdman Iñárritu type thing where it's like,
what is this?
It's like its own. Because I've heard other people. Isn't Sandra Hüller in the film? Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, and she's on record saying like it's the weirdest thing I've seen.
A year this year. Yeah. She won the Silver Bear at the Berlinale in Berlin a couple of months ago, which is the one that Rose Byrne won last year. No, she won it for something called Rose. Okay. I presume that's the name of the character.
Okay.
So yeah, she's. I mean, people think this will help her resume to kind of. And I was saying this the other day to somebody. I said, and I don't know if it was you or who it was, but the more I think about Anatomy of a Fall, the more, and like, I have thought about that performance more than any other probably from that year other than Cillian Murphy's. And I think in retrospect, if I was to do the Revisionist Almanac monthly, big episode right now for 2023, I might give it to Hüller. And I was Gladstone at the time, but Hüller was second. So I had Emma Stone like right down. Down.
That was Emma's win for Poor Things?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's a really good year of talented women. Whew.
Yeah, and then Annette Bening. But not that Annette Bening is not talented, but there was other people there.
And was it? Am I going crazy? Wasn't Hüller in Zone of Interest too?
Yes,
crushing
it. Yeah, and they did think she had a chance of a double nom. In fact, she probably should have done if you looked at who was nominated in supporting. But I guess it's just the name recognition. It's like they just didn't know her, and they were like, "Oh, we're already getting her for Anatomy of a Fall. She doesn't need another one." You're like, "Well, actually, she's probably better than at least 4 of the other people you got nominated in this category." But then what happens if Gladstone goes supporting? But anyway, whatever. The point is, Sandra Hüller is fabulous, and I'm all here for any awards campaign. Plus, I just love her like complete deadpan like responses to journalists who are just so awful. And I don't know if you saw something this weekend.
Yes,
you know the one I mean. The guy who always asks randomly, "What's your favorite Christopher Nolan film?" You're like, "The why are we talking about Christopher Nolan? What are we doing?
Sometimes I doubt if I'm a decent interviewer or not, and then I see some of these clips of these clowns out there asking, like, somebody asked Sandra Hüller, like, oh, what's it like to work with all like the best men in Hollywood or something ridiculous.
It was the same guy. It was the same guy.
It's like, come on, dude. That's the best question you got for somebody like her? Come on.
Yeah, it's like, no, it was worse. They phrased it. Hang on. When did you make the conscious decision to work with all the best men in Hollywood? And she's like, what?
Yes.
Like, and I love it because she doesn't stand for their shit. She's just like, you can see in her face, she's just like, what is this? Get me out of here. Like,
because there's another clip circulating right now with that interviewer talking to one of the actors on the Queer film about, like, oh, of course your favorite Luca film is Call Me by Your Name, and the actor's like, oh, why? Because I'm gay. It's like, oh my god, what a horrible moment.
Oh,
like,
no.
Yeah, just the worst. But
yeah, it's all clicks though. They get clicks, it gets reactions, it gets engagement, and this is how people like this keep working.
Yeah, I do think though we're gonna look back on Hüller in like 5 or 7 years, and she's all of a sudden gonna have this monster resume, and people aren't really gonna like appreciate it in real time. Like we're living in this great moment, I think, where Hüller's just gonna go on a run for a while, and I hope this year's like her like star really igniting, because she's phenomenal.
Yeah, and this just helps. I mean, I think possibly the one that are going to push, if they can, I don't know who's bought it, but the one they will probably push is the lead, I guess, for Rose, I guess. But on the other hand, maybe they decide, well, actually, perhaps the better chance is in a supporting role for now, and the lead helps the supporting. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? It's March. Like, what are we doing?
You know me, I don't even want to make a prediction in January. I am certainly not going to be the one who's going to be pushing for, who knows? I just want to go with the flow. Yes. Yeah. I'm the type that post Cannes Film Festivals when I'll really start kind of assessing, like, okay, these are probably more of the films that I need to be more acutely aware of. But at this point in time, who knows?
This time last year, everybody thought After the Hunt was winning everything. So
yes.
A film I enjoyed. But,
okay, I did not.
Yeah. I mean, it was fine.
I thought Julia was really good in it.
She was good.
That was a messy movie.
She was good. And Andrew Garfield was good.
He was good.
Stolberg was good. He's always good.
Yeah. The script really didn't help the actors for me.
Io was not good.
Yeah, she was not great. No.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, well, the other big movie release in March, neither of us actually
neither of us have
seen.
We worked well.
We did the Bale Mount Rushmore, and I think we got the right 4, and people have been pretty happy with it, other than I've had some people, The Machinist, a couple of people are mad at me for not defending Batman a little stronger, but like, I don't know, I think the Prestige performance is probably better than any of his 3 Batman performances, regardless of like the size of Batman. Neither of us watched The Bride. Well, technically, I did watch.
Bride.
Yeah, I saw I saw like maybe an hour or so, but it was the night of the Oscars watch party, and I was up in the projector room getting stuff ready, and it was playing on 2 screens, kind of simultaneously side by side, and so I was watching it through a projector screen. Not the best viewing experience for getting the movie, but it looked about like what I'd heard people say, which is it looks really kind of messy and tonally all over the place. The parts I was catching looked much more like camp than anything.
Which is what I was expecting from the trailer.
You
won't have seen the trailer, but I did. And I was like, why are people surprised?
Yeah, I did see a teaser trailer before something at the end of last year. And I was like, okay, it looks like a music video. It looks very like style over substance. And if that's what Maggie's going for, I have no issue with it. So I'm still like planning to watch it as soon as it hits digital. I'll watch it. Yeah.
It was in and out of theaters so quickly here. It was insane. I think they realized it was playing at really weird times in really weird, like during the day. And I'm like, nobody's got time for this. Like I can't go and watch something at 3:00. And then it was like literally just a week, I think. And I think they must have realized, oh, this is not playing well or whatever. And then just took it out. I don't know. It was randomly on again at the weekend on Saturday, but we had plans, so that didn't happen. And Yeah, but it was also trying to find an English version of it as well. So that's the double thing. So I've got to find something in English. I mean, I can watch it in German, but nobody wants to watch these things in German. So I always try to watch originals where I can. I mean, I will only. So it was finding that, and then at a time that works, and then also like just in a week that worked. It was like, oh, so hard. And now it seems to have disappeared. So I guess it'll pop up in streaming like soon. So
it's got to be hitting digital any minute.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it because, completionist with Christian Bale films. Although I haven't watched Thor: Love and Thunder. But
you can watch the first 10 minutes of that and you'll get about all the Christian Bale that's in that
I watched the trailer. I was like, maybe that's enough.
Yeah. The other big movie that you and I did both see, though, is really the big like streaming movie of March, and it's obviously got a big fan base from the television series, and that is Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man, which is the conclusion of this big, were there 6 series? Was that okay? So I mean, it's been around since like 2015 or something.
13.
I think 13, way back when. So a long period of time. We've had a long attachment to the Shelby clan and all of this. What are your initial feelings about The Immortal Man? Now that you've seen it, you've had like a week or two to digest it. Did you feel like it was a satisfactory conclusion to such a grand series? The face says it all, I think.
Okay. I am pleased that Tommy Shelby got closure. Won't say too much because there's people who won't have seen it. I'm pleased that Tommy Shelby got closure, and he got the closure that he wanted and needed. For the viewer, I think the ending of season 6 is possibly more, well, satisfying is maybe the wrong word because of the way it ends, but there's people annoyed about the end of what they did and how it happened, and also what it might mean for future series if they decide to continue as they might do and has been hinted at, which I hope that they don't. If it's continuing with Barry Keoghan.
Which I feel like it's going to do, yeah.
Because he, to me, there was kind of like the weak link.
Yeah.
I didn't buy him necessarily. And I know we get people turning up from time to time. And I know Duke had been in it before. But
felt like what he was cosplaying.
We needed more backstory. Yeah, and the accent was slipping in and out. Not that I can really judge, but our friend of the show, Morgan, said that his accent was really like pretty off some of the time. So, because he's from that part of the UK, so he can judge it better than we can. I felt, and I know you think this, Rebecca Ferguson was a bit wasted. I read a great comment on Twitter or somewhere that said Rebecca Ferguson, the classic character, who could have been an email. So
yes.
Kind of, she's very exposition-y character, right? And I mean, Morgan's review is actually quite funny because I read his review and he went off in one. I am not as negative as him. Yeah. He hated it. Yeah. Oh my God. And he still gave it 2 stars. So I'm like, well, don't hate that much. So what did I think? Yeah, whatever written down. So yeah, good closure in a way for Tommy's closure. So I don't necessarily think it was good, but like for him, it was the right end. Production design, incredible. There was some fun fan service. I wanted to say. I actually just wanted to say fan service, but then it ended up coming out as fun. When one of the first things that you hear Keoghan say is something about fighting, and then he says, "Well, fucking fight," and I'm like, ha 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 ha. But I don't even know if that was intentional because they swear a lot. But I was like, oh, that's like that one scene. I absolutely freaking loved it when Tommy got on a horse and then gets and rides back with the music, with the red right hand, and then rides into the garrison. I'm like, yes. And I like that. People were like, didn't seem to criticize that scene in the garrison pub. And I'm like, I actually quite like that.
It might have been my favorite part.
Yeah. So he rides in and then he goes into the pub and he's just got this aura about him, and obviously there's hard guy. I'm not revealing anything here. Like, you know, like, I guess, like, who the fuck are you? And blah, 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 blah. And he's just got this aura. And then, and also really nice to see, wee guy from Steve popped up. So he was in it. So that's nice, because I thought he was really good. The main kind of, if anybody saw Steve, I think it was just us. I think we were the only people who saw Steve, with Cillian Murphy, where he works in a school for kind of what are they disadvantaged, bad behaved boys, basically.
Well, kind of like a boarding school a little bit.
Yeah, but they're kind of like also, I think they've kind of like been neglected by their families, or they're there for discipline as well, and they're just, you know, there's kind of like the outcast. And he is the head, I think he's the head teacher right there. Yeah, and the main boy that he kind of like takes under his wing a bit there, he pops up in Peaky Blinders, but that was nice. Yeah, and he recognizes him then, basically. And says, "Oh, it's Tommy Shelby." And he was like, "Who the fuck is Tommy Shelby?" But he's just got this aura. I mean, this is the thing. It's like the whole. But I don't think Barry Keoghan can do that. He's not. Duke Shelby is not Tommy Shelby, and you don't feel. The thing that works about Tommy Shelby is the fact that he is so charismatic. Like, he's an evil shit, but he's. There's something about him. I mean, it's not just because Cillian Murphy is an extremely attractive man. You know, it's just this whole aura, I think, as well. And I don't think Keoghan's got that, or the character is necessarily that way. I don't. It's not going. It wouldn't be the same if they continued it. They'd have to do something a bit different. But then there's been talk of like a time jump as well. If they do it. But where are you taking it? I mean, at some point you're going to get into the modern day era, and people are going to go, well, actually, this is not really what it was like in, like, you know, Birmingham in the 70s. So I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, there were some great scenes, and I think fan service was there, and I enjoyed it. I mean, it was.
It was one of those classic like 7 out of 10s for me, where it was like, for me, 7's a good score. Like, I think it's a good movie. I'll be hard pressed to want to go back and watch it again for what it's worth, just because, like, I found so much more joy in the 6 seasons previous that if I wanted to really go into Peaky Blinders, I would go different spots. Some notes I took down were, it lacked kind of the energy of the series. It was much more like dour and didn't kind of like pop as often. Obviously, it was more of a somber storyline, but. And then the other big note is, and this isn't even the fault of the writers or the people, but the gentleman who plays Arthur, Tommy's brother, is dealing with a lot of personal stuff right now. And so he obviously couldn't be in the film. And I just thought that Arthur's always been the character for me that I found the most fascinating with his arc over the seasons. And to not have him there, there's obviously like some stuff with Arthur in the film without revealing anything, but it doesn't feel as well connected as it could have if that actor would have been present. Again, that's not a fault of the writers. They had to make do with what they had.
But so I don't understand why they did what they did. I hated that bit.
Yeah,
I didn't like how they explained what happened to Arthur, and I won't say any more than that. I don't like it, and I don't think it was at all realistic.
Yes, based on the brothers' relationship and all the turmoil up until that point, it didn't fit congruently with everything else. Yeah, so that part bothered me. But like, then on the flip side, I thought the opening was great. The introduction of Tim Roth, I thought, was fun.
Yeah, he was good.
He was. I thought Tim Roth was having a lot of fun, and he's the type of actor that fits into Peaky Blinders, the Sam Neil's of the world, and the Tom Hardys, which we both were praying for an Alfie cameo at some point.
Yeah, I really hoped.
I know. Just even for like a 1 minute scene, it would have been cool to see Alfie pop in.
There is a theory, by the way, on that.
Okay.
Have you read the theory?
No.
The theory is that, okay, we're going to do spoilers for the series here now. There is a theory that Alfie actually did die on the beach. Because, and I haven't fact-checked this since I read it and gone back and watched the series late, but since I read this, they say the theory is that Alfie did actually die because you never see him in any scene with anybody else other than Tommy after he comes back.
Okay. I'll have to.
No, I haven't checked this. I have
Yeah.
not fact checked this. I couldn't say if this is true or not. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'd have to kind of go back and watch the series. When does he die? At the end of series 4? Whatever. I'd have to check that. But like when he, yeah. So that's.
I'll go down like I'll find like a Reddit hole to go down with that one. That's
yeah. But that was something I read as well. But yeah, I would have loved to see him back. He was just so good in Peaky.
I would have loved like if you're gonna do a spinoff, do an Alfie spinoff or something like.
Yeah, this is what we want.
Yes, seriously. I'll watch Tom Hardy for hours upon hours over Barry Keoghan
as Alfie.
Alfie, yes.
Oh, so good.
And then the to be expected from Peaky Blinders. The music, the soundtrack was on point, start to finish. They had a lot of the. I'm blanking on the gentleman's name, but he's the lead singer of Fontaine's DC, and they're a huge Irish band right now. And he and Killian worked pretty closely together. And Killian's got a tremendous ear for music. Exactly, yeah. And so I know he said he's been very involved in the music of Peaky Blinders all over the years. I think I don't know if I caught usually there's always like a good Radiohead needle drop somewhere in the series. I don't know if there was a Radiohead drop in the film, but by and large, well,
you're more the Radiohead fan than me. I just know the big hits.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go into this expecting it to be like a top tier movie, I don't think it is. But if you're just gonna go into it wanting to just watch the way they conclude Tommy's series arc, I think that works well enough for me. So if I was going to recommend this to somebody who's seen the series, I would say watch it to its conclusion. There's no reason to avoid this if you've seen the series.
Yeah. I mean, some people who are still really mad, but people are going to be mad, whatever, aren't they? So, yeah. I mean, and Killian's very good. So
he is very good. One of the other notes I took is he didn't smoke enough. And I know,
yeah.
Like he famously would just go through so many of those fake cigarettes on set.
The herbal cigarettes.
And but he didn't light up enough in this movie. But when he did,
just a couple of times,
only a couple. But yeah, he there's an aura around Killian and around Tommy Shelby
it's the way he holds himself, just the whole persona he's like built for that character. It's incredible. Yeah. And he said it was very hard to shake off as well when he went home, like, when he was really doing the series like all the time, and he would come home and he had to kind of shake off the kind of the Tommy Shelby like walk and just the whole persona, because he's so different, I think, in real life.
I think he even said he got tired of the haircut, which is so funny because like that haircut became like a fad amongst boys after the series started airing because everyone wanted that look.
There is a hairdresser in the town I live in called Peaky Blinders.
That's cool.
There you go. I don't know if that's the only haircut they do or if they just, I don't know. But I think it's actually, that might scare me off if I was going to go. And it is only a barber shop. So it is just for men. But I think it might scare me off, quite frankly. Oh, God, is that the kind of haircut I had to get if I go there? But yes, that's there funny.
Is. So yeah, I would say a thumbs up from me. If you've seen the series, check it out. I think Heather would probably recommend
Absolutely.
it. Yeah. Okay.
And watch it.
Let's rattle off. We both watched a whole bunch of other stuff really quickly. I'm going to run through a bunch of stuff really, really fast, and then I'm going to turn it over to you to get through all the stuff you watch, because in addition to
I watched a lot of stuff, but you've asked me to select specific ones.
So we'll cover your movie challenge that you've got going throughout the course of 2026, and then just some others that you saw. A couple I saw really quickly in March. I saw Sam Raimi's film Send Help last week. That's the one with Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien, and she plays like a subordinate at a big corporate place, and he's he's like the new CEO and has, there's the power dynamic, and then she's a huge fan of the Survivor television series here in the United States, and they end up crash landed on an island, and the power dynamic changes, and he becomes dependent on her for survival. And the film plays out in multiple ways I did not expect based on the premise that they set up for you. I will leave it at that. It's a classic Sam Raimi style movie if you like his style. There's a lot of eyeballs, there's a lot of mouth stuff. So if you're squeamish around the face, don't watch it. But if you can handle that stuff, check it out. I saw a film called Magellan last week, which is a slow cinema historical epic about Ferdinand Magellan. and it's by a Filipino director named Lav Diaz. I've never seen this guy's work, but this is a 3-hour movie that I believe is the shortest film in his entire catalog. So he's known for making these huge, long, like 4 or 5 hour films. If you can handle the weight of a 3-hour historical epic about Magellan, I would say check it out. The cinematography is like extraordinary. I watched Scream 7 for the horror people out there. It's an abomination of the franchise, quite frankly.
That's what I've heard.
And the whole marketing around that movie was Matthew Lillard is back. What does that mean for the series? Because he was famously taken out of the franchise way back in Scream 1. The way that they incorporate Matthew Lillard into this movie is such a joke. It's not even funny. Like I was mad when we got to like how he's involved in the film. It's just a classic bait and switch for like press and PR. Not a cool thing. I saw Megadoc, which is the documentary that was following Francis Ford Coppola during the making of Megalopolis. That was
a great film.
You know what? The more I have,
that was incredible.
The more I've distanced myself from Megalopolis, the more I think it's so much better than 90% of the crap that I watch, because it's unique. It's like a visionary person putting their thing out into the world, and it's messy and it's flawed, and yet it's also a lot of fun. Like
I was entertained the whole time.
And watching the documentary actually heightens my wanting to watch the film again, because it was just. But also, Francis is such a different filmmaker than all the guys we get today, where he's much more like involved in like experimentation on set. He doesn't care how much money it's going to cost him. He's forking over his dollar to make this crazy passion project.
He's got his wineries to pay for it.
Got his wineries, but you could tell that all the actors felt like they were on different movies, because I don't think like none of them really kind of knew the story. It didn't seem, but a really fascinating documentary. So if you want to watch something that's really cool. And then I finally did it, people out there. It took me 4 years of attempts, but I have now watched all of season 1 and season 2 of David Lynch's Twin Peaks. I have been ridiculed and attacked and bullied for not being able to get through season 2. So famously, for people who don't know, Twin Peaks was David Lynch's kind of like brainchild from the television side. And then at a certain point in season 2, he kind of removes himself from the picture. There was like some creative disputes and some stuff with the network. And you can tell the moment David Lynch is no longer involved in the series. And then he comes back at the very, very end of season 2. And I had always gotten to the point where he leaves, and I could not get through this pile of crap in the middle. And I pushed my way through. I finished season 2. I think that the finale of Twin Peaks season 2 is one of the most bonkers, bat stuff crazy episodes of television I've ever watched in my life. I actually checked the settings on my television at one point because I thought something happened. And I will just leave it at that. But like, I was like, what is going on? And I just bought the Criterion of Fire Walk with Me, which is a prequel film to the series that I'm dying to watch now. And then I can watch The Return, which is the third series, which takes place like 25 years later, which has been heralded by a lot of people as one of the great pieces of television. So for people out there, I will continue my Twin Peaks journey, but I finally did it. I got through season 2. I'm all the better off for it. Okay.
I remember the big hype around the first season when it was first airing, and never watched season 2. So,
the more I think about it, especially after watching the finale, I can't imagine somebody in 1990 when it was releasing watching it in real time. Like it's so not traditional television even in 2026 that I feel like it would have broke people's brains to watch that thing in real time, which is why I got
people did though. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing. But Laura Palmer, right? The whole thing, like what happened to her, and it was like this whole. It was almost kind of like before social media, this kind of like viral thing. I just remember it being like kind of. It was like whispered. What happened to Laura Palmer? Like, who the hell is Laura Palmer? What are you talking about? Yep.
And that's the great problem with the season 2 is the mystery of that character. You find out about midway through the season, and then there's a whole back half of the season where the mystery's done, and they kind of have a whole new storyline, and that's when it gets really not fun. So, but I pushed through. I've done it. I'm past it. Okay, Heather, You have watched so many amazing things.
I've had a better month, I think, possibly.
You have.
Well, speaking of David Lynch, I did watch Eraserhead, but I'm not allowed to talk about that because it's a 1977 film.
That's right.
So
we'll get to that in the summer.
We'll get to that in the summer. Yep. Well, although I have spoiled some of my thoughts. I also watched Blue Velvet after being told that it was the most accessible one. I was like, okay.
They've still whoever told you that still lied to you. There's a couple others, but
well, I mean, I've watched Elephant Man, so that was quite accessible.
There's The Straight Story, which is probably that's his most accessible.
Okay. No, but I like Blue Velvet, so there we go. But I think that might be my favorite Lynch that I've seen so far. It's just like not quite so weird. The rest.
What did you think of Dennis Hopper in it?
I don't mind weird, but like there's weirder, there's weird. Dennis Hopper. Oh, Dennis Hopper was being Dennis Hopper, wasn't he?
Yeah, sucking on the mask.
Yeah, that was he was wild. I don't really want to know what substances he had consumed before doing that. So that was good. Then I also watched because I had to watch F1 to be a completionist for Best Picture. I said, right. So Sunday before the Oscars, literally finished about 2 hours before the Oscars started. I finished F1, the movie. It was entertaining, I guess. It was super cringe dialogue, like where I think I was giving you and Amanda like running commentary at times, like going, what is this? What are they saying? Did they really just say this? The exposition was insane. Like, we know the rules of Formula One. I know why they're doing it, but it was so over the top. It's like they're trying to pretend this is an actual commentator for Formula One. He would never say this because people do generally, let me explain what happens in the safety car period. Yes. Like, that would not happen. But I know why they did it. It was just super clumsy. Why on earth is Kerry Condon got such a tight shirt on all the time that her buttons are exploding? Why are we doing this? I know why we're doing this, but why? It's just ridiculous. Brad Pitt, I'm just not even going to talk about. So full of cliches. That said, it was so much more entertaining to me than Hamlet and Hamnet, not Hamlet. I keep doing it. Probably a bit more than Hamlet as well, but Hamnet and Train Dreams. Sorry.
Oh,
yeah. Sorry.
Well, I'll agree with you on Hamnet. I'm not
saying it wasn't number 10 in the rankings, because I did put it number 10, and it probably is number 10. I'm just saying, to get through it, I was entertained more because I was able to rip the shit out of it a little bit more than these two very worthy films, of course. But because I was just, so that's what was, it was popcorn. It was popcorn blockbuster film, right? So it was really long, but it didn't. I was just laughing at a lot of it so much that for the wrong reasons, I shouldn't have been laughing, that it went by quite quickly. And as part of my Apple TV free subscription I had to get to watch F1, I also watched Coda. Finally, there you go. I'd never seen Coda, which was perfectly lovely. I'm not quite sure what it's doing winning Best Picture, but it was a perfectly lovely film. Troy Kotsur was fantastic. I think that was very deserved. Generally, the acting throughout I thought was great. It was extremely predictable, of course, super cliche. I mean, I guess it's this feel-good film that people wanted at the time. It's the classic for me, preferential ballot winner. Yes. There is no way that this, in the first round of voting, had the most number ones. Absolutely no way. And in fact, I would hasten that this is probably a preferential ballot that went right down to the last few, and then it ended up just. I'm really struggling to think how that would never have won if it was the old system.
Yeah. But, I'm getting ready. That year's going to be my season finale this season. And so I'm a couple months away from starting to prep for it, but it's one of those weird Best Picture lineups where you got Power of the Dog, Dune, Drive My Car. Like everything was either love it or
really wild mix.
Yeah. So I do agree with you. I think Coda was probably the one that ended up highest most frequently.
Yeah, and also it was a strange year because there's a lot of films that were still in the qualifying run for 2020 that would normally have made it into 2021, which might have made 2021 completely different if it had been normal calendars.
Yep.
I think Sound of Metal or so could have fallen into that, and then obviously I think this is both our favorites from, or we think it should have won at least in that lineup the year
Sound
before.
of Metal.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Same here. Okay, so that was fine. It was perfectly lovely. It's a
TV movie. It's like a wonderful little TV movie.
Yeah.
It makes me cry.
Yeah, no. Then I had two very fun experiences. I saw Old Boy, which was absolutely wild. I remember when Jen and Sarah were on that, and then they were both loving Old Boy and giving it all the praise. I was like, okay, so I tried not to listen too much to that because I knew I think you did quite well and didn't spoil it generally because it is. So I did try to not listen too much to what you were saying about it, and but I do remember that you were all pretty high on it, and wow, this went places I was not expecting. Audience. So I said about Project Hail Mary that the audience can make a big difference. This audience was incredible. You could just hear people at the back just going, "Oh no, like this the whole way through, like really audible." It was. Do you think
do you anticipate a lot of the people that you saw it with had not seen it prior? Like it was
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And this is so cool because No Other Choice was sold out like a few weeks ago when I went to see it, and this was sold out as well. So the guy's popular here, clearly. And I think I would say, like, based on sound effects from the audience, I'd say like 90% had not seen it before. And the guy and the people I was sat next to at this one, they were super into it. They were hiding in the same places as I was, and we were all like cringing together. It was great. So that was fabulous.
Didn't you say you started levitating? I believe was your wording
during the hallway scene. Oh yes.
Yeah. Oh, just iconic.
Yeah. Amazing. But the most life-changing film that I saw this past month was something that everybody told me I was going to love, and I was like, okay, yes, I agree with you, but I just never got to it because I could never find a good version on our friends archive.org. And I saw Amadeus, finally. And I saw the director's cut, which, unlike the director's cut of Apocalypse Now, I was sat there going, I wonder what the extra scenes were because I don't know. It all made sense to me. There's nothing that I would cut out. And talk about a film flying by. I mean, this was like 3 hours and it was gone in a flash. I had no idea it was a comedy. I had zero idea. That laugh, I was like, I should make this into my wake up alarm or something now. Oh, perfect movie. It's one of these films, when you go into film, maybe you don't, but sometimes had this. I had it a couple of years ago with Fargo. I had it with this, where I had it with Ordinary People when I first watched that. You just watch and you're like, right, that is going straight into top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no questions. So my CLP needs redoing, as people told me it would do after seeing Amadeus. And hey, qualified for my 52-week challenge in the category a film based on a musician and group or composer. So I'm like, yes, I don't have to watch a shitty music biopic.
I can also promise people out there, Amadeus will not be part of the worst music biopic draft in any form or facet. It is way too good to be in that conversation.
Yep. Fabulous film. Fabulous. Want to go watch it again. Haven't stopped thinking about it. Haven't stopped thinking about that laugh or just the ending scene with F. Murray Abraham in when he's going past everybody else in that kind of, I guess, like psychiatric institute or whatever it is. Oh, so good.
We talked about this a little bit privately, but I don't remember. I don't really remember the last version I watched. I own the director's cut, which I confirmed with myself, but I don't remember.
There's nudity in the director's cut.
Yeah,
and there isn't apparently in the.
Okay, I don't remember
the original.
Nudity, so
yeah, the original is PG and the director's is R. So
okay, so I may have never seen the director's cut, even though I own it. So I might have to prioritize watching.
It's very minor, but.
Yeah,
it is what it is,
Is that really all the difference? Really, is there?
That's the main difference, and there's some parts apparently of the backstory a little bit as well.
Okay.
But yeah, and then I think some dialogue scenes and stuff are cut a little bit shorter and stuff. But it's mainly one particular scene with Constanza and F. Murray Abraham. Yeah.
Okay. And then what you also got to a couple, your movie challenge, you also got to Half Nelson, which we talked about.
Yes. So I had the music not music biopic, but based on a musician thingy. That was Amadeus. Then I had first film by a famous director. I had Eraserhead, which I'm not allowed to talk about because 1977. Mm-hmm. Then I had independent film where I took Half Nelson as part of our Ryan Gosling prep. Then new release, I saw Project Hail Mary, so I'll take that one. And then, which we've also spoken about, I had a category based on or turned into a TV show. And there I was like, oh, Peaky Blinders, that fits there. So, yeah.
And for people who need reminding, if you go to the RevAlmanac letterbox page, you can keep track. We have a list there that's going to be updated constantly, so you can keep track of all the movies that Heather's watching. In the description, it will also tell you what the particular category for that movie is. So keep track of that throughout 2026.
Yep. And this week, before we started recording, we established that because of what we have coming up later this month soon, I will be taking The Lighthouse in the category Black and White this week. Which is
going to be an incredible movie to talk about.
Is this one I'm also going to have to do like live reactions
to?
Yes. So I think that is me up to how many weeks? This is week 14 of the year. 13 down, and then we've got The Lighthouse this week. I will be watching the drama, of course, as well, which is a nice little segue.
Yes, so we will plug away here at the end really quickly. We got a bunch of stuff to plug. So Heather, Amanda, and I will reconvene very, very soon to do sort of a double special we're going to do, and we're going to release them over separate times, but we're going to do the drama, which is the new Zendaya Robert Pattinson film, and we're each going to talk about like one thing for each of those two actors. And for Zendaya, we've talked about the idea that it doesn't necessarily have to be a film. She's been very culturally relevant in a number of areas, and so
you were not aware of.
Which I will happily explain to people when we get to that recording. My introduction to Zendaya was much different than obviously Amanda's and yourself as well. So yeah, we'll do that, and we're going to release that episode on Easter. I just thought it'd be funny to release the drama on Easter when everyone's getting together with family. And then we've got The Devil Wears Prada 2 coming out in May, but we'll release early in April, and we will release a special where we're going to talk about Meryl Streep specifically. Instead of doing like a giant top 10 or a Mount Rushmore, which is just a daunting task with Meryl's body of work, Heather, why don't you tell us what we're each going to do with our Meryl picks?
So the idea was just to kind of bring one to the table to talk about that is maybe not necessarily underrated, because we've established the fact that each of them she wasn't Oscar nominated for. But I think there's been a thing with Meryl in the last, say, 20-25 years. It's been like, oh, Meryl has a film out, she's going to get nominated no matter the quality. So we've got, there are quite a few that tick those boxes. It's like, oh, Meryl, and people were saying about Emma Stone as well now. Oh, Emma Stone is a film out, she's going to get nominated. But these are three that we feel personally that the Oscar nomination, well, the film is good, we like the film, and her Oscar nomination can be defended and is actually, she's actually really, really good at it. So it's an Oscar worthy, or at least nomination, maybe not the win, but it's not a box ticking exercise in any of them. So we shall be bringing one each.
Yes.
And I've had to watch new stuff. I had to watch one new film.
I love your pick, which I've just recently done some prep on, and then I'm excited to watch my pick, which I haven't seen.
Your pick.
It's been like a decade probably since I've really sat down and watched that movie. And then Amanda's pick, I have not watched, I don't think, since it came out, and I don't have much memory of it.
I watched it this morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm eager to see how I feel about it in 2026, and I'll leave it at that. A couple other things to plug is, by the point this will go up, if you go over to our friends Tom and Dana over Greatest Movie of All Time podcast, GMOAT podcast, Heather, you just did an episode with them that will be up at this point. Why don't you tell everybody what you just guest spotted over there for?
I can't remember. I'll have to check my tattoos on my arm to see what it was. Yes, I did Memento.
Heather doing a Nolan. What do you know?
I know, right? They gave Dunkirk away for next year, but it's fine because I have the Prestige with them later this year, so it's all good. Yes, we did Memento, which was great because I hadn't watched it in a hot minute, and I need to rewatch all Nolan's anyway to redo my ranking and preparation for the Odyssey. So this was a really hardship. I was like, oh no, I've got to rewatch a Christopher Nolan film. It was a really good conversation. Please go and listen to it. I think that we were very mixed opinions on it, but it was a good discussion, and that should be out. Yeah.
Was that Dana's first watch of it, I wonder?
Yes.
Okay, I figured, yeah.
And I told him he needs to rewatch it as well, because that's a film you do need to watch with the knowledge that you have after having seen it once, because it takes a while for you to really grasp what is going on. And rather than going back and starting from the beginning, you might as well watch all the way through and then go back. And what I haven't done is watch the chronological version, which is out there.
I was just going to tell you, I've got it on the shelf over on the wall here. Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of defeats the purpose, in my opinion.
I watched it just for like the novelty of it, but it just, it doesn't have like.
Where's the fun?
Exactly. Like, that's arguably Nolan's best edited film, just in terms of the narrative structure is just phenomenal.
Yes, listen to the episode to hear our thoughts on that, because the editing gets mentioned quite a bit.
I'll have a link for that in the show notes for this, so you can easily get to that. And then finally, it's been our buddy Damon over at the Neverending Watch List. He and I have been circling this guest spot I'm doing for them for like 6 months now. We finally got a date locked down. We are going to be ranking the entire Edgar Wright filmography. So Edgar has a special place in my heart, and I know Damon is a huge fan of his as well. And so we will be ranking all of his feature films, and I'm sure there's going to be some disagreements, because I know there are a few movies that Damon has rated much higher than me on Letterboxd. Usually people like to snoop on my Letterboxd. Well, I was snooping on Damon's Letterboxd, and so I've got some...
I have snooped for 1977, I do admit.
People do that. It's like multiple times a week I'll have somebody randomly message me and be like, how dare you give this movie a 4-star? And I'm like, I reviewed that thing 10 years ago. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
So.
And this the comments about me spoiling Wuthering Heights. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, that's going to live in infamy for sure. All right. Well, that's going to do it for March. Heather and I will be back again first week of every month. We'll be doing the same thing. In April, we have a ton of stuff we'll be watching as well. So, yep, anticipate.
We're going to try and get to the drama before we record on Friday, though.
Yes, I'm hoping you're able to. I don't think I'll be able to.
I think I might do it. Yeah, I might be able to.
I don't know if I don't really have like any days off work planned to where I could like go catch a movie during the day, but I will be watching some children's movies over the next few weeks.
Fabulous.
Super Mario Brothers.
Have you seen Hoppers?
I haven't yet. No.
Ooh, okay. I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, the boys just, they're not as like Pixar coded as I was as a kid during like the height of Toy Story and all that stuff, so yeah, they just don't seem that interested, which is weird, but whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Well.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this one. Heather, always good catching up with you.
Always a pleasure.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.